Hi and welcome everyone. I'm Neha Singh, certified financial planner and founder of Womoneysta. Over the last many years, I have worked with so many couples who are going through this beautiful new life transition. But one of the most powerful tools in this journey is having clarity around your money. So, today's session, Love, Life and Leisures, which is part of Hera's preconception journey, is not going to be just about spreadsheets. It's actually going to be about financial intimacy, how we show up for each other, how we make decisions together, how we don't just plan a baby fund, but also plan on building a foundation of trust, resilience, and shared visions. So keep watching this video to get insights on what are the different money lessons that you need to learn in this new transition. Why is this conversation important? Why does this matter? Just think back. When was the last time that you and your partner talked about money without a sense of urgency, anxiety, or fear? Most of us do not have these money conversations, and pre parenthood is all about the shift. It's an emotional shift, a physical shift, and also an oncoming financial shift. So, having that compatibility, having that clarity is going to be so useful in the times to come. Money talks must begin before the baby arrives so that you all are prepared, you all have the clarity of what needs to be done going forward. Starting with transparent conversations. One of the most beautiful things about this transition is that now you have a shared goal, a shared dream. So get started with going back and talking about your own money story, your own money mindset. What are your personal financial dreams, goals, and plans? Bring that together, align it with your partner, and find a common ground. What is it that we both really want? If you all like to be more creative, more adventurous, create a beautiful shared vision goal for your new family. And finally, I really invite you to consider a money date format. When we go for a date, it's all about having fun, being joyful. Consider having a money date with your partner once every week where you openly, happily, comfortably talk about budgets, expenses, investments, all the things which normally tend to induce fear, anxiety, with making a shift, and we're going to convert it into a happy time because it's going to set the foundation for all the years to come. One of the simplest frameworks to start building your financial goals is the SMAT framework. S stands for making it specific. Now, instead of saying we need to plan for our child's future, why don't we talk about the specific thing that we really want to plan for? Let's say a child's education fund. What exactly it is that you want to achieve. Once you make it specific, the next step becomes easy, making it measurable. Now that I know I'm not planning for a vague goal like my child's future, but I'm planning specifically for the child's education, I can actually do some research, go back and figure out how much will that really cost. You can figure out the cost of a higher education today, a master's education today, and put that number in your goal sheet. The third one is very important to assign priority. We have limited time, we have limited resources. So, is it really as urgent? Is it something that I would prioritize over another dream or goal? That's the question that only you can answer for yourselves. Do that together. Is the child's education more important or having a travel fund every year going to be more important? Maybe both are, but which is going to get a higher priority when you're moving forward? And finally, putting down a tentative timeline helps us have clarity on where we're going together. For example, I want to make sure I have put together my child's education fund, which I require after the next 17 years or 18 years. This will help you start planning your investments. This simple framework is all you need to start working towards your money goals together. Making budgets is one of the hardest part. Many of us are not aligned when it comes to what our budgets should look like. So here I'm going to give you a simple tip. Create a you, me, and us budget tracker. The you tracker is everything that you are going to take care of. right? The partner is going to take care of. Maybe this could include the wellness classes, it could include certain EMIs. The me budget is the part of the expenses that I am going to take up. Now, this could be certain expenses that I'm doing on myself. It could be certain family's expenses which I have decided to take care of on my own. And finally comes the us budget. So, against each segment of expense, write down whether it's taken care by the partner, whether it's taken care by you, or whether it's going to be taken care together as a shared expense. Put down us in front of it. Let's talk about creating a joint baby fund. Yeah. A joint baby fund will be a very useful thing when it comes to all the baby related expenses. Everything which has gone into the shared expense tracker can be taken care of through a simple joint account where you can decide to contribute either in the proportion of the income or in a pre-decided format, whatever is comfortable for you. This you can use up for things like the medical checkups, any prenatal classes that you want to take up, any maternity, paternity expenses, and newborn expenses. All of that could be taken care of. So, a pre decided amount, which is then dipped into and contributed into regularly. This is a very, very important starting point because the cost of raising a baby is just growing in India. Let's talk about security, insurance. Many of us overlook health insurance, life insurance, but this is a time where you need to go back to the drawing board and ask whether you and your family are adequately protected. Health insurance is priority number one. Please go back and check whether you have a company insurance and how much is the coverage or the protection that it gives you. If it is less than 10 lakhs, I would highly recommend having a separate cover for yourself, for your family of at least 10 lakhs today. This you can decide based on advice from an insurance regulated advisor who can help you give you the exact amount that you might require. But having a separate cover is highly recommended. I also recommend using the company cover if you have one for maternity because taking it standalone might turn out to be very, very expensive. Keep in mind that as soon as the newborn comes in, you must add the baby into your family's health insurance cover. Most policies will allow you to do this from day zero. Let's talk about life insurance. What if tomorrow the earning members of the family are no longer there? It's a very morose thought, but very important when you're building from a place of love. Having a life insurance cover of at least 10 times of your family's income is highly recommended. Consider term insurance, which is the most basic, plain vanilla format of insurance. It does not combine any elements of investment, but the advantage is that at a low cost, it will give you and your family a nice big coverage. Make sure you're adding a rider called the critical illness rider, which gives a lump sum in case you are detected with any critical illness to take care of the running expenses of the family. That critical illness rider is totally worth the cost. Finally, insurance is a specialized subject matter. Before you take up any policy, I would highly recommend working closely with an IRDA certified insurance advisor. The second part of building security is having an emergency fund. How does one build an emergency fund? How much should your emergency fund be? So very, very common question. Do a very simple maths to this. Calculate how much is your family's monthly expense. When you're planning for the new baby, include the anticipated amount that you'll be spending every month on taking care of the family's expenses. Now multiply this number by 6 times, right? So if you spend say 1 lakh every month, you require 6 lakhs worth of an emergency fund. That could be a great starting point. Now, if you feel that you're the sole earning member and you require to have a higher amount, you could take this up all the way to 12 times. Where should you park your emergency fund? Now, emergency fund is not the money that's going to create you wealth. This is your safety kitty. This is the money that keeps you feeling comfortable and safe. So it should be available to you easily. It should be liquid. So what I do suggest is following the 50-30-20 rule. 20% of this money can sit in your savings bank account. 30% can be converted into a short-term fixed deposit. And the remaining 50%, you can look at keeping that in the form of a debt mutual fund, like a liquid fund or a corporate bond fund, or you could even consider keeping it in the form of gold if you're comfortable liquidating that at the time of crisis. Using this principle, this money is going to keep up with inflation. It might not make you wealth because, see, this is not the risk money, but it's going to definitely keep up with inflation. Next comes the concept of getting started for our big, lofty goals tomorrow. And there is power in getting started small. What kind of goals could you be building towards? An education fund, which might be a decade or so later. You could be building for a leave corpus, if in case you need to put out the time to be taking care of your baby. You could also be putting aside a short-term goal fund, like a first-year essentials or planning for some early education skills that you want your child to have. Let's talk about building an education fund, because this is one of the largest goals that most of us will have as parents. If you're looking at building an education fund of 1.5 crores over the next 18 years, let's assume today's cost of 30 lakhs inflated at 10% every year. Now here comes the power of early investment. If you start now and you have 18 years, you will need to start with a monthly investment of just 21,000 rupees, assuming an interest rate of 12%, which you could earn through investment products like mutual funds. You'd be investing 45.5 lakhs and you'd be building this up to 1.5 crores over the next 18 years. Let's say you delay this and start after 5 years. This amount doubles up to 42,000 every month. If you delay it by another 5 years, you start after 10 years, you will have to shell out around 95,500 every month. What I'm trying to say is that there is power in starting early, because it makes you put aside a smaller amount more consistently in a more disciplined manner. Let's say you can't start with 21,000 today. You can start with wherever you are, whatever it is that's possible, because every small amount adds up. Time is the real power when it comes to compounding. So get started for your short-term, mid-term and long-term goals, even with a small amount of 500, 1,000, 5,000 every month. And it is going to get you good results over a long period of time. Why do I focus so much on starting small but starting now? Because as you could see, the longer you wait, the higher becomes the monthly burden. A delay of 10 years made our monthly investment increase almost 4.5 times. Compounding works best with small SIPs and discipline given over a long period of time. And finally, inflation in education is real, so you will need to start planning as early as you can. If you're working in a company, you must understand the workplace benefits that you have during this transition. What is the kind of maternity or paternity leave that you can avail of? What will be the kind of payments that you're going to get during that period? Are there any rejoining support, any facilities that the company provides to you? It's very important to get clarity. Have a chat with the HR person, explain your situation and get the entire clarity on each and every point. There might be some things which are not mentioned explicitly in the policy, but they might be important for you to understand. So make sure you're taking the support of the HR during this phase. In case of any confusion, in case you need to go back and negotiate for certain benefits, use the CRB framework. C is having the clarity. What is it that you're really looking for when you're going to come back, or what is it that you're really looking for currently? Is it going to be flexibility? Is it going to be facilities like daycare or creche facilities? What exactly do you want? Then going back, doing some research. What are the competitors doing? What are people from the industry doing currently? And what does your policy exactly say? And finally, positioning it in a way that not only does it reflect benefit for you, but also reflects the long term benefit for the company to do this for their employees. The CRP framework can help you get exactly what you require in a very structured and smart manner without creating conflict. Use this time to have deeper conversations with your partner, because once the baby is here, you might not have the bandwidth, the energy to do this. So go back and spend this time to reflect and reconnect. What are your different money beliefs? What is it that you feel holds you back or limits your ability to create wealth for yourself? What is it that holds your partner back? How can you all figure a system where you can have better money conversations through the phase of change and shift that's going to come into your life? Who is going to manage what in the money relationship? And finally, what is going to be that one action step that you're going to make sure that you take as a family time and time again? It's so important to bring action rather than just conversation when we're talking about money, because that's where the difference starts. Remember that having a strong financial bond is very, very core to having a strong relationship. Across the world, research suggests that money stress has been one of the biggest issues when it comes to couple compatibility. Don't delay having these tough conversations, because the changes that are going to come in, the chaos that it's going to bring, will make it even tougher. Align on your values, the numbers will fall in place automatically. And finally, to build a life with confidence, clarity on numbers, clarity on your dream goals, shared goals is super duper important. If I had to summarize, what is it that I want you to build in together in this journey? It's going to be all these key takeaways. The first one is to build financial intimacy, financial compatibility by having open money conversations. Use this to also build the SMART framework, making your goals specific, measurable. You're going to align them as per priorities and put a timeline to it. Your expenses need to be built around the you, me, and us tracker. What are the shared expenses? What is it that you're going to take care of? What is it that I'm going to take care of? Putting together a joint account for the baby's expenses, starting an SIP, making sure you're planned for risks through an emergency fund, and having adequate health and life insurance. You're going to make sure that you speak to HR to have all your internal policy clarity on what are the benefits you have today and what are the benefits you can expect in this new transitional phase from your company. Finally, making sure that you talk about money is not just a one-time thing. It's a system that you build it through a regular money date where you talk about money on a running basis with shared goals, shared values in a happy, transparent way. Thank you so much for taking this time with me today. The fact that you're here shows that you care not just about finances, but also building consciously with your partner. Remember, there is no perfect plan, but there is power in preparation and conversation. Talking about money when one is not in crisis can make it really a positive and happy experience. So stay honest, stay curious, and plan forward for this transition. Above all, make space for love, life, while you're working on the leisures.